So absolutely everything that we do is to increase our happiness. The clothes we are wearing, the way we are seated, if you decide to come or not to this event, the profession we choose, or even the partner, everything we do is to increase our happiness or at least to decrease our unhappiness. But do we really know what happiness is? When I was 16 years old, I didn't. And it was probably this search started 13 years ago that brought me here today. At that time, I was depressed. I didn't feel meaning in life. So I took the bravest decision of my life. I decided to left school to play professional tennis. 3 years later, I saw that tennis and hit a yellow ball was not enough, was not the thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to help people and organizations to be happier, to find their full potential. And this came from a deep belief that we can do more, not just survive, but actually to thrive. So, happiness. We talk a lot about that, but very few times we stop to define it. There's actually three schools of thought that try to answer the question, what is, after all, a happy life? The first school of thought, hedonism, will say that we need to maximize pleasure and decrease the amount of pain, maximize good emotions and minimize bad feelings. But that formula has not been working. We live in a society full of instant gratifications. We have social media, sugar, screens, consumption, and yet we have never felt so frustrated, stagnated, and completely anxious. And it's because to feel real pleasure, we need to be present. And presence is something we've really been losing those days. Also, the things that really increase our happiness so many of the times are difficult. It requires discipline, patience, like building relationships, improving your health, or even growing as a human being. But are those things that will actually improve your level of happiness in a lasting way? The second school of thought will say that a happy life is a life with virtue and purpose. That's not exactly a definition of happiness. It's more a map, a path on how to get it. This path is very powerful, but it can also be very dangerous because a lot of good people die unhappy because they have lived their life trying to be perfect, repressing parts of themselves, thinking that feeling sad, angry, guilt was wrong. But the science is quite clear. All emotions are important. Repressing yourself doesn't make you more virtuous. It makes you less human. There's a third school of thought that for some reason the modern world has forgotten. It's called ataraxia, the idea of happiness as inner peace, to live among good friends with simple and moderate pleasures, being present instead of just being busy. When I lived in Bhutan, when they talk about happiness, that's what they mean, inner peace. And that's the most scientific definition of happiness, as a synonym of contentment, satisfaction, emotional intelligence, and everything that makes life worth living. Before we continue, I want to talk about three facts that I think are very important for us to know about happiness. The first is that happiness is a trainable skill, as any other. Let's think about playing soccer. If you have played soccer every day since you were a kid, you would probably not play as good as Messi. There's something genetic to it, but you most certainly will play way better than you do today. With happiness, it's the same thing. If you start to practice every day, a year from now, you'll be way happier than you are today. And that's the only comparison that truly matters, is you with yourself. Second, we tend to overestimate the impact of big events. The science shows that 6 months after major events like winning the lottery or becoming paraplegic, we tend to come to the same level of happiness than before. So stop falling for this arrival fallacy that when X happens, then I will be happy. Happiness is built on the small acts that we do every day, not on the big events, being good or bad. And third, we are way more similarly than we think. Doesn't matter our age, our nationality, we are all the same species. What makes us happy is pretty much the same in the macro. We can be different in the micro. We all need to exercise, to sleep well, to feel socially connected. Let's take exercise, for example. We all need it. The type and the amount of exercise will change, of course, but we all will benefit from it. The rule is universal. The science of happiness was built inside psychology, but it has outgrown the field. Nowadays, being studied by law, economics, architecture, public policies, and so many other fields. But I felt something was missing. Some of the main mission of positive psychology, the applicability. And that's why in my master thesis, I created the HRG model, a model that is easy to understand, that brings everything we know from the science of happiness from many different fields. It works like a map, a path that if we follow, it guarantees that we are living the life that we want, a life well reflected, as Socrates would say. The first pillar, the H, stands for health, the physiological pillar. We need to exercise, and very well, actually. We are beings that need to move every day. And the second most important thing is sleep. We need to stop with this idea that sleep is laziness. We need to start prioritizing good sleep. Regarding nutrition, we actually need to stop with the excesses and focusing in a diet that has a lot of protein to build muscles, but mainly to have real food and low calories since we are not as active. Also, meditation and time in nature will help us physiologically achieve the states of relaxation. The second pillar, the R, stands for relationships, the social pillar. Relationships is actually the most important thing to increase our happiness and our longevity. Those two things almost always come together. For 300,000 years, we have lived in tribes from 25 to 150 people. We have only thrived as a species because of our capacity to live together. We are not the strongest animal in nature. We are only able to do that because we are together. And that's why being socially accepted is so important, because it's ancestral to us. So when we are talking about the importance of relationship, we are talking about family, romantic life, friends, co-workers, and the one you're probably gonna estrange the most, that is our relationship with strangers. Are we greeting people in the streets? Do we talk with people that enter in the elevator? Do we know the doorman's name? All those things tell to our unconscious that we are in our tribe, and so we relax. It's the lens throughout we see others, and consequently the lens throughout we see the world. Finally, the G stands for growth, the psychological pillar. We all need to grow. Growth is a law of nature, is everywhere. But the consciousness of growing is deeply human. We are the only animal that can achieve the life we have always wanted. The partner, the job, the money, the house, the kids. And yet, if we feel stagnated, stuck, we tend to enter into depression. So we need to feel that we are improving, and can be as small as improving our running pace. Of course, the bigger and the more profound the goal is, the better. Improving as a parent, improving as a human being, or even improving as a soul. All those things create more meaning and work as an antidote for depression. Before we finish, I want to walk you guys through what I consider the map to happiness, the path to a good life. The first step is to define what success really is to you. Where you want to go, why you want to go there, and how you will get there. And I love Behe and Galeano's phrase here. I walk 10 steps and it goes 10 steps away. I walk 20 steps and it goes 20 steps away. So what's utopia for? It's to make me walk, and to make me walk in the right direction. So in order to define where you want to go, I suggest you use knowledge, as we are talking here today, with science and philosophy, but also self-knowledge to know who you are and what's important for you. The second and most difficult part is to have the discipline to put those things into practice. As we talked before, we live in a world surrounded of stimulus, and we are not prepared for that. So in order to live a happy and fulfilled life, we need to have the discipline to focus on what's truly important for us. And of course, now and then, stop, reassess, and adjust. Are those goals still my goals? Are those behaviors still the behaviors that I want to be doing? Creating this way a virtuous cycle of a happy life. So I hope you have understood that happiness has way more to do with inner peace and fulfillment than simply pleasure. Our society is getting sick because of our over-focus in pleasure. We are getting anxious, exhausted, frustrated. So I hope each one of you will have the discipline to focus on your health, your relationships, and your growth. Thank you.
Thank you.